Welcome back to Inside Assemble AI, the podcast where we explore how artificial intelligence is transforming business strategy and innovation. I'm Sam, and alongside my co host Mac, we continue our mission to cut through the AI hype and bring you real insights from leaders who are implementing AI strategically in their organizations. In our first episode, we explored AI in marketing strategy. Today, we are shifting our focus to one of the most critical areas where AI is making a profound impact: education.
Thanks, Sam. Our episode is called today AI in Education Innovation. And we are asking, how is AI reshaping the way we teach, learn, and grow? We'll dive into the practical AI tools for educators, explore how to maintain learning integrity while embracing AI, discuss the future of inclusive education technology. Our guest today has made a fascinating journey from VR education to becoming a certified AI training coach, and they're at the forefront of helping schools navigate this AI transformation. So, whether you are an educator, exploring AI integration, a school administrator, planning digital transformation, or a parent curious about AI's role in your child's education, this conversation will provide valuable insights and practical guidance. Back to
Thanks,
Sam.
Matt, for setting the stage for this podcast episode. So today, we are joined by Sean McLaughlin from across the pond, UK, a VR educator turned certified AI training coach who specializes in inclusive edtech solutions. Sean, what makes Sean's perspective unique is his focus on ensuring AI tools to promote equitable learning for diverse learners, including students with special educational needs. He has been working directly with teachers and school leaders to navigate the practical challenges of AI adoption while maintaining educational integrity and student ownership of learning. Sean, we are excited to have you here to share your insight on this critical topic on the impact of AI on education.
Too excited to dive in. Thank you.
Over to you, Mike. Let's start with the first Q&A.
So, Sean, can you walk us through your journey from VR educator to certified AI training coach, advocating for tools like Magic School AI?
Yes, most definitely. So, for me, technology in schools and the classroom was all about trying to help teachers. And so, way back before the explosion of AI, I was using tools like Power Automate and other Microsoft tools, OneNote, and all these different tools to just support teachers, really. And that's always been my heart to, sort of free up their time. And then, especially, and I almost don't like mentioning it anymore, but the time we all had to stay home, I put a lot of energy into supporting learners, supporting teachers. And to be honest, I was drained. And so during that time, I was just looking for everything I could automate to just sort of claw some of this time back for myself and for teachers, to make lessons engaging for students who were forced to go home, stay home. And and AI kind of popped up, and I've always been a bit of an explorer, and I've started playing around with AI, and that would have been the early Chat GPT, and then quite quickly soon afterwards was Bing AI, and then and so on. I was always sort of diving in and discovering ways, and just all the time it just kept on growing so fast, didn't it? It was different each month, and still today it seems it's slowed down a little bit, but for a while there it's really changing all the time. So I just started learning it and learning as much as I could about it, and then I did start to see ways that I could use this to support teachers, include learners, support myself even, and just try and level the playing field, I guess, really. And since that time, I've kind of shifted from, because there was a lot of creating with AI, and I kind of now shifted to, right, what's the purpose? Where's the meaning behind this? So that's my current focus at the moment.
Great. And I completely resonate with you because I remember that during COVID time that the kids they were not able to go to school, and that's why they have started the online education time. So that was actually one of the evolution from going to school to there to entirely virtual, and from there now AI. So it's the next level of transformation from virtual to complete. The education system is best with AI. Having said that, my next question is that what was the moment or experience that made you realize that AI would be as transformative for education as VR had been for you?
Hmm. Yeah, so I think as I was using it, I was just discovering how powerful it was really. And yeah, and then seeing how others were using it, and it was just getting so powerful about being able to create and do things for others. And I guess in that, yeah, it was a big shift, and it was such a great big shift from just digital to something, that could think cognitively and critically, and yeah, could really, be a powerful tool. So I think, yeah, definitely, yeah, wanted to all of it, but try and really focus on sort of using it ethically and correctly to enhance learning rather than to take learning away. So I had a big focus on studying it, and yeah, and then in doing that, it's really important for schools to say set up policies around it. There's a lot in the UK about sort of inclusion with technology, and I really see AI as that because it can translate anything on it. It can read anything. It can just it's so good at summarizing anything, isn't it? Or turning into a podcast. So yeah, it's just such a key tool for inclusion. But yeah,
Ganja,
yeah,
right.
but definitely not to because it could do all your thinking. But I think as I've seen that students don't want that. They don't want it to do their thinking. They like us. They want a tool to support them, and yeah. So it's really important to sort of grasp this concept and help students as well as ourselves and teachers.
Thank you. Can't agree more on that. My next questions, I'm going to redirect it to Sam.
Thanks, Mac. And really, I'm really glad that we started this podcast with talking about such a influential like a topic right now. It's very important at this moment to understand how education can progress further with the help of AI. So now, moving on to that, as schools have started embracing AI-powered learning, what practical steps and shift should be involved to pursue in that direction? I mean, Sean, if something that you can share from your previous experience utilizing AI-powered learning tools, then that'll be great.
Yeah, most definitely. So yeah, the shift. So Sorry, I'm just going to check in my notes. So yeah, I think I've got that as the second question. But yeah, yeah, think I think I may have just answered that on that last question. I think I may have skipped ahead on the shift. But yeah, it's that the policy and the importance of and in being inclusion. And sorry, Sam, can you shift back on this one?
Sure, definitely.
Yeah, can we?
Yeah, what we're actually trying to understand is that do we need to have some sort of like a mindset? Like, for example, we are going to utilize an AI powered learning tool. Is it like we have to have like an open mindset or like being curious to learn more about the AI powered learning? So, what would you think? What's your personal opinion based
Yeah,
on that you already utilized?
I think so. Yeah, it's like lifelong learning, really, and curiosity. And I think AI. And apologies for the stumble there. AI is, especially when I've been using, say, Notebook LM, and I've been doing research, and it sort of enables deeper research. So curiosity. So you're finding stuff that you might not have known there by just sort of delving a bit deeper, and it gives you the power to do that. And tools like Elicit as well, you can type in a query and it just and enables that sort of deeper curiosity. And I always say around creativity as well with AI is yeah, it's the co-pilot, and actually we can really use our imagination. And I recently went to see a Yoko Ono exhibition in London, and her thing was Imagine, like her book. And one thing that really stood out to me was she had some instructions on the wall, and she said, "Create the picture inside your head." So I thought to myself, that's kind of like creating a prompt to create a picture. So you're using your imagination and to create something. So I really feel, there's a lot of people saying, yeah, it can really take away thinking and imagination, but I think it's, in ways it can enhance it as well in the right mindset, really.
Yep. No, I mean, like you mentioned about the notebook LM, right? I used that AI tool a couple of times. I remember I was trying to play with a certain document, and I wanted to create a mind map based on that notebook LM, and it was kind of giving me a really nice mind map, and that is something that helped me understand about the full document instead of just going over like each and every page. So this kind of tool really help us to kind of like just grasp the summary of some certain document in a quicker manner. So thank you for your perspective on that. So I was going through your one of your LinkedIn posts where you mentioned about Magic School AI, and what I really got to know about that, this Magic School AI is a startup that actually founded in Denver, where I'm currently based in. So can you tell us a little bit of experience with this platform, Magic School AI, what it does and how it's kind of empowering that AI-based education strategy?
Yeah, it is a startup from Denver, isn't it? And I went to see him at Bet, sort of their first year, and they were just sort of like just the owner, Dil Khan, and I think he had one other sort of guy with him, really small booth, and just the next year they're back and they've got a huge booth and a huge team, and then I actually did a uh, speaking them on evidence base really, and for me, looking into Magic School AI was around that shift. So I've been using AI, and I've seen others using AI, and I've seen others benefiting from it. And I was right, what's the next step? How do we get it into schools? How do we get it into schools safely, ethically? Do we train students to in AI literacy? And Magic School AI is a tool like that. So it's I think it's based on a chat GPT and education wraparound. So it's all sort of it's almost like guardrails. So I often describe AI for students in general, just any, Copilot or any of them, it's the Wild West, but then a tool like Magic School AI has got the guardrails. It's like a sheriff in town. And then what's even more powerful about Magic School AI is the teacher can sort of see what's going on and moderate and just really sort of pick up what a student needs or how to just enhance their learning really. And then it's just evolving, and all the time you can now create chatbots and all sorts of things. But I think it was mostly that. It was mostly, how can we get it in schools? How can we get into schools with evidence based, saying that it actually does enhance learning, it does save teachers times, rather than just it always being, just felt like AI was always the potential to do something, but without any really hard, fast evidence. So, I think my research on Magic School AI was very positive, and I'm hoping to continue actually with some research on around AI in education.
Thanks, Sean. Those of you who are in our listeners are in the education business, or if you're a teacher or learner, I would definitely recommend you to go ahead and try that Magic School AI. It's a very revolutionary education platform that's coming up really hot, and a lot of people start using it. So yeah, and with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Mac to take us to the next question.
Thanks, Sam. I love the where the conversation is going. Um, my next question to Sean, that we have seen students say AI removes the intimidation factor and feels collaborative. So how do you foster that environment that where students see AI as a learning partner rather than a shortcut?
Yeah, it's really important to role model that, and and back to what I was saying, sort of, it's to enhance your imagination, to enhance your research. So, and I think I've started to see some tools as well that, for example, there's one I've been doing demos on called Wayground, and it's a quiz, AI quiz sort of generator. That's probably not the best term for it, but it's a quiz game, but it's now AI powered, should I say. Some really good examples of it are you can change the questions to be real world. So instead of it just being a sort of a really plain question, and you got the students going, "When would this ever help me in my life?" And you can change the question to it, and it will give a real world example. And then also you can kind of joke around as well, and you can have it sound like Shakespeare or somewhere else. Yeah, I think sort of role modeling that, trying to make it real world. And I think if we're benefiting from, AI and its uses, why not students? I think so. We need to be open really and say, yes, you can use AI. I'm not worried. And I think as we've all gone on, we really know if something's AI, don't we? Pretty much know there's if it's AI, there's real telltale signs, or someone, don't you? So I think it's sort of about getting to know your learners, give them that trust. Yeah, and I think, as I mentioned earlier, the majority won't want to cheat. There will be some, but I think you've definitely got to give them the benefit of the doubt and build that sort of that trust, and then hopefully that will lead away from sort of them being academically integral rather than sort of wanting to cheat. And that's kind of what I always sort of say to educators.
I love that. So, having said that, just wanted to know that when I love the collaborative approach, anyways, but when you were saying that, like students are collaborating, how do you see yourself that, that are our students losing the creativity? Like, eventually, 5 years back, if they wanted to create a design, and now that everything is prompt based, they are just simply put the prompts in an AI tools, and then they are having the design, or so do you think like the creativity is going down for the kids, or it is actually enhancing their
Yeah, I
creativity?
don't. Yeah, I don't think it's down. You probably got more. No, it's been enhanced more because I know for a lot of kids would probably say I'm not creative. I can't read aloud, for example. Yeah, if there's got an AI sort of platform helping them read, and then once they see the percentages are better, they actually like, oh, I can read. And so I think it's given it's including others, more. So you still will have a select few who are just really creative anyway, and they can just do things like hand paint. But for a lot of us who can't paint and draw, and it really includes others, doesn't it, into that creative process. But again, I would definitely role model and say, okay, this can do this really easy, but let's just really focus on your imagination. Can you imagine to create, not just sort of do it the easy way. Really look at what you can create and how you can create it better. Even sort of feedback on whether that's good, or can it be improved.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. And I just wanted to add just one more thing here, that I think we also need to teach our kids like how they are going to leverage AI, not just simply, it's just taking away their creative stuff, but at the same time, like how they are using AI much more intelligently, so that, it can increase your productivity. So having said that, I'm going to pass it over to Sam for the next question.
Thanks, Mac. Yeah, I'm glad that we already touched upon a few important items on how AI is making impact in the education area. Now, previously, Sean, you did mention about how AI is, like how teachers are getting benefited from some of these AI-powered education platforms. So could you please tell us about your journey in supporting teachers in adapting some of those AI-driven tools, and also kind of like helping them out developing a growth mindset around digital learning?
Yeah, so this is definitely goes back to like my heart on wanting to sort of support teachers and save time, and we've discovered that that time doesn't exist for yourself, but yeah, just to sort of support teachers and give them time for another task, say, or to be able to support a learner better, or because I can remember classrooms are very crazy paces these days, and yeah, I really see AI say can be a real good classroom assistant, really, especially especially a tool like Magic School I and others like that. And so yeah, I go in with that mindset really, and I say, look, that's my heart. I want to sort of help support you. I know how difficult education can be, and that's my main goal really. And then from that, the students start to benefit because of the teachers got more time for them. Yeah, and I think usually if you go in with a demo and a tool, and they just see something that averages time from them, or solves a real pain point for them, they their eyes light up when you click the button. And I remember doing a training recently at the London College Contemporary Arts in London. It's a real like creative sort of higher ed institution, and there's some really vocal responses around sort of using AI for say feedback, and I just ended with Canva code, and it just did the vibe code, and as it went down the screen, everyone was just sort of blown away. So there's everyone, there was a lot of vocal voices, but yeah, everyone was like really blown away by that at the end. So it's just finding those those moments really that solve big problems for teachers. And and that's it. I mean, sometimes I think AI is changing so much, and I just want to some days just go back to being a forestry instructor, or I take my daughter canoeing. I think, oh, it's just technology is changing so much. Why not just be a canoe instructor so I don't have to keep thinking and training on it? And but yeah, so but if I can help others, I will keep sort of sharing the power of it really.
So, yeah, Sean, if I understand correctly, you're basically saying that the AI is actually helping the teachers to amplify their knowledge and even expand their horizons, I guess. And and I also believe that like AI is also helping the teachers to cut down some of those like manual review process. And sometimes I feel like now the students do have AI to ask their questions, like preliminary or primitive questions first, right? Before even they reach out to the instructor or teachers, for the same thing. So I feel like it's kind of like cut down some manual efforts from the teachers, as now students have their like a go-to like a digital assistant or resource as an AI. And I just feel like teachers can focus more on developing more strategic contents, or maybe, think out of the box to see how they can help the learners to kind of in their education journey, not just bog down with kind of like just reviewing the like the papers, or reviewing some like assignments on a daily basis. Maybe they can offload some of the stuff to AI, could do that auto grading stuff. That's where I feel like the AI is becoming very important, where you can just offload some of the mundane like auto grading tasks for primitive questions and stuff, and teacher can focus more on building up the education content more robust and more like to align towards like learner's journey.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they're really powerful, and I lost my background there for some reason. It's saying visual.
I like your background. This one is perfect.
So yeah, there's something around just creating sort of learning resources to save time. And yeah, there's I think you can sort of add some input there, but and then also around understanding your students, especially in higher education, it's really important to read what they're saying. And but yeah, there's definitely ways you can just cut through some of those mundane stuff.
Thanks, Sean. Having said that, I'm going to pass it over to Mag for the next segment of coaching.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. And I really actually resonate with Sam and Sean both. I think in that way that implementing AI will give teacher more time to think more critically. so that they can focus more on thinking how innovative way they can implement their strategy for like uplifting the students' educations rather than doing the administrative work. And having said that, my next question to Sean, that as a specialist in inclusive education tech, how do you ensure that AI tools promote equitable learning for SEND and diverse learners?
Okay. Yeah. So they're kind of I think that's one of the powers of AI currently. So it's just so good. Say, for example, translating something, or as we mentioned earlier, Notebook LM sort of cuts through tons and tons of stuff that you got to read. And for example, I'm a bit of a slow visual sort of interpreter. So yeah, that's why sometimes the questions I really forget them really quickly. So a tool like Notebook LM, I used to put into all the research into a podcast, and I'd walk down the Cuckoo Trail which is an old railway line outside where I live, and I've just listened to the podcast, and I could skip back, and I could take notes. So it's just that, yeah, it's got the power to do that, to really include others, and that's definitely in the UK at the moment a focus of the Department for Education about inclusion. So it's a real easy selling point to say these tools, like I mentioned earlier, Wayground, it can change it to real world question types and just make it more relevant for students. And with Magic School AI, it's in a safe environment. It's got its guardrails. So yeah, it's all those really important pieces in education that you bring in really.
So I have one follow-up question for that. So when you say that, can you also give us a concrete example for how AI has helped level of playing field for students with different learning needs?
Yeah. Okay. So, what if give me a second. So translating, for example, in Canva, yeah, one of my greatest sort of achievements in teaching was I had some students from the Ukraine, and and to be able to sort of get a document that was for all my other learners and just so quickly, translate it into Ukrainian for them, or translate the voice, the questions into Ukrainian was just so meaningful for me. And yeah, and also with Magic School AI and that sort of inclusive, safe environment, you can really the AI really tutors a student beyond what you can do really, and and you can differentiate that, and no one knows what's on their screen either. So they might be struggling with a concept, and you can just differentiate it for individual students just on their own screen. And Wayground does that as well. So there's a lot of accommodations, and Wayground's a new one I've been training on, and we're a UK partner for Wayground, the company I'm with. They're huge advocates of sort of including learners, and that's where the name sort of way ground comes from. So finding a way on common ground for all students. And yeah, the AI can just differentiate the questions for each learner, and those questions stay, and they can be real world, they can be in their own context, or fun as well. So it's all those little things that just enhance that sort of inclusiveness really. But yeah, I definitely, and I say in higher ed as well, that just to be able to research that, the research tool, and be able to sort of just dig a bit deeper. I mean, in illicit, sometimes you're doing research, so you're new to research, and you've got an idea, the questions around methodologies, and you're not quite sure what you want to ask around that, and you just start typing in a query, and it kind of like gives you ideas of what your question might be, and in a higher ed, in a higher order thinking sort of way. And so that's just a really cool way to just sort of, it's showing the students, I could be asking this, and then just sending them down another sort of learning journey really, like you said, Sam, earlier. So yeah, those I definitely say I've loads of examples I've seen, and so that's why I'm a big advocate for it.
Great example, Sean, and I can't agree with you enough on that. So one of the things that since you brought this up about the translation, I'm glad that you actually brought it up. So one of my friends, then he was actually translating during organizing the meeting. And I mean, that's the power of AI. So initially that what we do, like we're so busy with doing the meeting note stuff, then we hardly get some time to put our brain on onto a meeting. So right now we can do multiple stuff in just one meeting. And I mean, just by implementing AI. So you can do the meeting notes, you can translating, you can also think, the critical thinking, you can add values to the meeting more. So now I'm going to pass it over to Sam.
Yeah, 100%.
Thanks. Can't agree with you both on this one. It seems like AI definitely plays a significant role in bringing equity in education, especially allowing non-native English speakers to even like get those translation messages, so they could even also follow along at the same time.
Right.
So definitely, that's a power of AI for sure.
Yeah.
Now it brings me to the last but not the least question. Actually, it's my favorite question. What are the key ethical or privacy challenges that Sean you envision while people are adapting AI in education and their learning journey?
Yeah, I mean, it's been said by lots of people really, and you treat, and when anyone rolls out a sort of AI policy, it's just really important to not people's information in. I mean, I don't mind putting my own information in, but yeah, I wouldn't want to put anyone else's information in or learners' information. Yeah, the AI, the importance of training students sort of AI literacy and just what's real, what's not is really important piece. I mean, when I used to teach students, it was with Google, and they'd always go for the first Google answer, and so they even needed training back then on just sort of a
Right.
web search, and so even more importantly now on AI. And yeah, and obviously I think a lot of the bias has been dealt with, but it's still there, isn't it? So it's important to sort of teach others about there could be bias in the models, and also, but I think I've seen this on one of Shivi's podcasts. I think hallucination has maybe gone down because everyone used to go, hallucinates, but I think the percentage has gone lower. So yeah, I think it's definitely becoming a really powerful, trustworthy tool. But yeah, so and the ethical things seem to be sort of lessened. I mean, I think they've definitely got more powerful on security, and especially the big tech companies like Microsoft and Google and OpenAI. But there's still stuff out there. I see today about Elon Musk and his baby Grok. I didn't quite gather what was going on there, but there's still some tools out there that you have to be careful navigating. But yeah, I think on the whole, humanity's grasping it quite well. And yeah, as long as there's voices keep on saying, let's just sort of use our minds here and just sort of to assess this tool really.
Nope, Sean, I think I totally agree with you, especially on the hallucination remarks. As the LLM models are getting sophisticated day by day, the hallucination effect is gonna go down in future, that's for sure. And also one of the things that I notice personally is that now I like ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude can also give you like a references or links. So that means you can validate that their arguments or what opinions they are sharing with you. I think that's also a game changer because
Yeah.
I remember like a few years back when ChatGPT first came across, and my better half is in academia. She's a researcher. So I was having that conversation with her, and she was telling me that from an academic researcher standpoint, they need to see some references, like some sort of acknowledgement and some links, so they can at least approve or they can at least have confidence on what AI tools are saying right now. But 2 years down the line, now we can see AI tools started giving you references. So
Yeah.
I think that's the change I think we started seeing, that AI is also not just giving you random facts, but also giving you supportive comments to those random facts. So you can validate that, using your human judgment, right? I think that's great and I think that's going to help AI to progress further and making a huge impact in education or academic world. So I totally agree with you, Sean, on that. having said that, I would say that this has been a fascinating conversation with you. It's incredibly enlightening, and I'm pretty sure our listeners will also agree with me on that. So now, Sean, where can our listeners connect with you and learn more about your work in navigating through AI journey and also kind of like spearheading an ambassador of bringing AI in education platform?
Oh, just find me on LinkedIn. I'm friends with Sam and Mac. Yeah, that's my favorite platform. Also, an AI powered platform. But yeah, this conversation's been fab, and on each point, I definitely could have kept going, couldn't we? Like, I definitely could have come back on that last point, Sam. So yeah, maybe we should do it again sometime. And yeah, I'm really inspired by some of your initiatives. You have meetups, don't you, Sam, in Denver, AI meetups, and we're all part of the enthusiast community. And yeah, so it's been wonderful to chat with you guys this evening or daytime where you are.
Thank you. All I can say that we all are doing our fair share to kind of like spreading awareness about how AI can be impactful in every area, especially in education. I'm going to pass it over to Mac for the closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Sean. And thanks to all of you for listening to this second episode of Inside Assemble AI. So we have covered actually a lot. So we have covered Sean's transformations from a VR educator to AI educator, and then how the school adoption in AI, then the fostering collaboration, how teachers are using AI, also using different AI tools, and then also ethics and governance. So if you guys found this conversation valuable, please subscribe and share it with educators, administrators, or parents who might benefit from understanding AI's role in education. Until next time, this has been AI in Education Innovation, our second episode of Inside Assemble AI, delivering our core message. Keep innovating, but keep it strategic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.